Welcome to Ask Clem Today, the best how-tos. We're going to go ahead and show you how to mount a TV mount on the wall. And this is the particular TV mount that a lot of people are preferring because this one is for 20 to 65 inches. It can tilt many different ways. It can tilt down, up, sideways, and all. And we're going to show you how to mount this. Now, this particular TV mount, the link, if you'd like to purchase it, will be in the description below, so you can purchase it on Amazon. And understand that anytime you purchase something through my links, I will make a commission, but it's no extra cost to you. Actually, it'll be supporting my channel and for me to be able to do more of these type of videos. So I appreciate it, and let's go ahead and get started. So one of the first things we want to do is that we want to make sure that all of our screws are together, all of our washers. So like that, it's easy to figure out what is it that we need. So on this particular TV, we're going to be putting some LEDs around the edge. So I want to make sure that this bracket doesn't come lower. So what I did is I kind of pre-measured, and just to kind of give you an idea. Oh, and don't forget PPE, safety equipment. Got my safety glasses and my gloves. Now if you notice that my gloves, I got some little fingertips. So because I work in electronics and all that, there are times that they're so small that you do need access. So wear the right gloves for the right particular job. So on this particular one, I could have this bracket like this. And one thing about this is that if you put this bracket low, it'll stick out under the TV and it's not too good to see. But because we're doing LEDs around the edge, I want to make sure that I'm high enough to have a little track for the LEDs to go on. They have these spacers. Now these spacers, there's actually two different types of thickness. You got one real thin, about 3/16. This was about 5/16. So we're going to use this guy here. So we're going to put it right in that hole, and then we're going to lay it right there. Again, remember that I want a space here. So this screw with the washer, we'll put it in there. We don't want to use power tools when it comes to installing this because these little nuts and all that is sensitive, and we don't want to torque it down too much. So now we're going to go ahead and put this here. Now this particular bracket has a screw down here at the bottom and has a hook here, and it sits there. This goes in the bottom, not on top, because as you go ahead and mount this to the wall, it hooks, and then you put the screw up, and then it prevents it from falling out. So that's why you want the screw in the bottom, so you can do it from underneath. All right, so we're going to go ahead, mount this guy there. Make sure I got that space. If this is your first time to this channel, you may want to consider subscribing and slap on that bell so you can get the latest videos. And again, you're going to use a hand screwdriver. Nice and snug. Boom. There you go. That bracket is going to hold this TV no problem. This TV is super light, by the way. It's amazing how light it is. Boom, there it is. So that takes care of that. I forgot to tell you, the reason why we need spacers is because the screws are so long, and if we don't put the spacers, then it can mess up the nut that's in here. So that's why the reason of the spacers. Again, so this will be my top. So what we're gonna do is kind of slide this guy in there. So as you can see, he's hooked already. He's hooked already. And so now this would screw in while this is on the wall. Now, the reason why we want to check this out here first, because now we want to measure the top of my TV to the top of this. So I'll know where to mark it on the wall. Okay, 12 inches. That's how we're able to get the measurement for what I need on the wall. So we finished putting the brackets, and so we figured out that we needed 12 inches to the top of our bracket that's mounted here on the wall to the top of the TV, because we already kind of looked at it and tested out with the homeowner and kind of see and what would be the ideal for them. Now, it's all relative when it comes to the position of the TV height. There's no set rules per se, because if you're in an auditorium, then that's a different story. You need it up higher. And so again, this is a small living room area, And so this is the height that the homeowner loves. So if she loves it, then that's where we're gonna install it. Now, what I've done is I've actually put tape on the wall. I've seen individuals where they go ahead and start marking up the wall with pencil marks. That's terrible, guys. So here's a professional tip. Put tape on there where you're gonna mark it, and then once you're done, you peel it off, and there's just nothing to repaint. So think about that. So now, what I've done is I took a level for this little paper, gave me the indication when we were talking to the client with the height we wanted. So I went ahead and I kind of put the level there and make sure that the level was right according to this little plumb bob. And then I took my pencil and kind of scribed it and gave me that line. So there's my level line. Then I needed to find center from this corner to this corner. So I took my measuring tape and I measured it, and it's 47 inches and a quarter. And that's where I came out to 23 5/8. So I found my center, 23 5/8. I put a mark here and a mark here, 23 5/8. And then having the mark here, there, I went ahead and put my level there, and this is where I want to look for the other plumb that's this way. Because if you guys notice, you got one that's in an angle, and then one that's horizontal. So we want the horizontal to give us level. So once I put the mark there, I found that it's plumb, then I went ahead and marked it on here. So now I have center of this wall, so it'll fit perfect. So the next step is that, remember that we measured, it was 12 inches from the top of the TV to the bracket where we wanted. So that's where we found our level line here. And then we went 12 inches, so we put it there, 12, right there, is where we got our line here. So now, so this is our line. That's the top of our bracket. Here's our bracket, and we decided that we're gonna put it this way. So what I've done next is this. I measured between here and here. That's 17 inches that I got between these two lines. So 17 divided in half, that gave me 8.5 inches. So I put a little mark right there so I know where is center. So now that I know that, so now what I want to do is stretch this guy out. Now, if you had another person helping you, it would be ideal. This bracket is small compared to others that I've installed. So now I want to hold this there at the bottom, look for my little mark. Oh, and then that's where you get in your kit. This level will come and it's magnetic. And you can put that there and it won't fall off. So now you find your little mark, center, level it out. Then what I did is I took a pencil, put more tape, and then I marked it on the furthest hole. Same here, so it's already marked. So now that I have that, I can set this to the side. Now, in your kit, you will have some screws and also to put it on drywall. Because this is an external wall, that means there's a block on the other side, then you have a fairing strip. You only have very little room between the wall and the drywall. Otherwise, I would put it where there's no wires showing. There are special brackets that you can buy. In fact, I'll put it in the link below for those of you that are putting an interior room that you have more room, where you can actually cut out a hole after you put a bracket, and then your wires go through and it comes out the other end. But it's a special one because it has an outlet, because you really don't want to have a high voltage cord going through, because that's against code violation. But you can put a coax cable, you can put any low voltage wires, no problem. But on this particular bracket I'm talking about, it has an outlet here, an outlet in the bottom, an extension that it is approved, and then you can just jump it on your outlet. But because there's no room here, we're not going to do that. We're actually going to be putting this particular one, it's basically a little track that's going to go in the center, and it's going to have a two-way tape, and then the wires will kind of be hidden, and I kind of painted it, kind of matched the wall as best as possible. So under the scenario, that's our best choice that we have for the moment. Notice that I put this little tape, it's got a little curve here. And that's so when I drill the little shavings and all that, even though I got throw rugs on the floor, so it'll kind of like try not to make it as messy as possible. So it's almost like a trough to collect the sawdust from the drywall dust, so it makes it easier on me, because I love to work in a clean environment, and when you work in a clean environment, it just makes the job so much easier and organized. Okay, because the drywall is close to the concrete, we're actually be using Tapcons, and the Tapcons we're using are these. They're blue, that are going to go into the concrete, and that's how we're going to secure this. So what I did, I wanted to make sure that what we got behind here, so we got a fairing strip here, we got a piece of wood. So remember that fairing strip is only 3/4 of an inch. Could I screw this into that piece of wood? Yeah, but I want to go into the concrete, so I'm still going to go all the way through. So what I'm doing is I'm pre-drilling with a concrete drill bit in order to put my Tapcons. So this is how it is. So now we're going to take our socket here. I put some washers on the Tapcons. So I'm going to take the tapes off. Just leaving a little line there, just so I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and remember I can read the numbers, so they're upright. I'm going to stretch these guys out. And I'm going to put this Tapcon here. And I'm going to put another one here. I want to go and put my level back on again. So now remember where my mark is at. I'm leveling my mark. I'm going to go ahead, just tighten this in a little bit. Making sure that it's level. So I'm still going to put these 2 screws in the bottom, but I got it marked here. I got it centered with my level. The one thing that I wanted to tell you is that the drill bit I used was a 3/16 concrete, so I can put these guys in. Okay, so I'm going to put the other Tapcons on the bottom. I ain't going nowhere, guys. All right, so that's how we put these guys in here. Take my level off. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to take my tape off. Grab the TV and put it up. Look how light this TV is. I'm grabbing it with one hand. I'm going to go ahead and go this route. Sure it's hooked. So it is hooked. You can twist this way a little bit, so you can be level. So if you wanted to, just to make sure, put this on there so it's nice and level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from underneath and tighten those screws. I'm going to push this guy back. Now I tilt it just a little bit. There you go. Boom. This is how you mount a TV wall mount. We will be putting this bracket here, this little chase, in the background. So like that, nobody sees the wire. There's going to be a cabinet here. So really the space that you're going to be is that much. But just to play it safe, we're going to add this here. Put this track on. I put the wires in the track, so you see it coming out here. And then I'm going to show you behind here what I did. All right. So let me show you behind here what I did. So there's the track there coming up. I went ahead That's your cable. It is an RF, radio frequency, so it doesn't have to be in line of sight. So I tucked it there. Here I put a command strip so we can put this HDMI, so whenever you need to hook it up to a tablet, you can just unhook it. And then it's got a little Velcro, and then you can connect it. So like that's out of the way, it's not hanging. And then I'll still have room for my LEDs to come along this area. So there's your connection. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of put this back. Anyways, the TV's working, so I'm gonna put everything back together and we'll give you a final shot. So here's the final product. If you're getting any value, please let me know by tapping on the thumbs up, and then this will let me know that you like what you're hearing.